Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you, Tom.
There you go.
What?
There you go. All right, so real talk at the table. This is an opportunity for advisors all over the world to be able to ask any question, any subject, any topic. It'll be my opinion. I'll try to be objective in giving both sides of the story. Being in the business almost 50 years kind of has led me to see a lot and see a lot of the things that our industry does very well, and also be exposed to some of the things that our industry does poorly. So some of the people I already recognize: Mike, David, hello. Jeremy, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
What is on your mind?
Well, I'm sure it's like everybody else in our industry. It's just, for me, it's about seeing more people.
Okay. STP, good old see the people. What tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I pastor a small church, and I've been in the insurance business, I guess, really since 2018. I got my license when I was 19, and I'm 46 now, but really did nothing with it. When in the very beginning, I got in with a company that was door-to-door long-term care in a rural market. We stayed in hotels, and my last day with them was when I walked up to an appointment and the farmer pointed a shotgun at me and said, "This is me canceling."
A simple no could have done the same thing.
Yeah, it would have been easier on me.
Glad you're okay.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. So what is your focus on your practice now? What are you mainly focused on?
Really, what I've done is young married couples is really who I've had the most success with. Couples and families, and really just trying to help them understand the concept of paying taxes now while it's on sale, really, instead of trying to stuff all their money into a 401k and and chase some kind of rate of return.
How many times have you heard me speak?
I mean, I've listened to a handful of things from you. I've watched a handful of the YouTube meetings that David has on his YouTube page.
Is there anything in any of that dialogue that has either caught your attention, changed your life, made you aware of something you weren't aware of, or created all kinds of curiosity and questions?
Yes, and yeah, I mean, it's created a lot of questions for me. You know, my biggest hurdle really is just confidence in talking to people. I mean, that's for me, that's the biggest hurdle is, you know, how to start those conversations.
Call them coffee talks that don't involve coffee.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. What do you do now to try to do that? What is your opening line?
Really, what I've done is I've tried to use I don't know, 2 years ago bought the stuff from Wayne Cotton, and I just try to sit down and go through his personal viewpoint with people. It's just a 20-minute introduction, and basically it's you know, it's really starting with people that you know, and it's difficult as a pastor. I feel like talking to folks in the church, which is why I'm trying to build the practice so they recognize that I'm more than just their pastor. I'm qualified to help them with that as well. But I haven't done anything well as far as
Define well. I don't know if I mean, are you being critical of yourself? I mean, define well. No one is ever successful as they want to be.
Right. So I guess really it's me. I guess projecting that fear that I have in that conversation, and it's because I think I've stuffed so much information in my head, and I feel like I have a lot that I can offer people. I don't know how to get from A to B with them. I don't know how to get from that starting conversation to, you know, actually sitting down with them.
Who's helping you with that?
Well, right now, not really anybody.
Are you familiar with the Breakaway League?
I
What
am.
we do?
I don't know everything that you do. Like I said, I've just kind of scratched the surface.
My goal, excuse me, my job as the founder of the Breakaway League is to give you the skills and teach you those tools that are necessary to achieve a level of success you never thought possible using a proven sales strategy that creates wealth for clients that's not going to be subject to an income tax using the tax code. So that's what the things that you say you are struggling with are exactly the things that we teach in the group. And I'm not the only one out there that's doing this. There are others, but I strongly encourage you to. One man shops are difficult to succeed in. I was fortunate in my career that I was always in very successful general agencies. So I was surrounded by a bunch of people with gray hair and were very successful. So I would pick their brains, and because I wrote 100 Lives my first 2 years in the business, I gained their respect from someone who would possibly make it in this business. So I was fortunate to be led by very successful people very early on in my career. This is an extremely difficult career to master, extremely, and which is why the pay is so good. And the day it becomes easy is the day our commission is going to drop to zero. And they'll pay us 50 cents, which will cover the postage to send a thank you letter.
Right.
And that's it. So, yeah. Well, what questions do you have about what you're doing then? Mike, I muted you because you were, I think it was Christmas carols that we were hearing in the background. So I kind of muted you. You're gonna have to go in and unmute yourself. But Jeremy, what kind of questions would you like to ask of someone who has succeeded in the business?
I guess, for me, it comes down to, what did you do to overcome that fear of just having those conversations?
Have a belief.
Okay.
Everything you do should begin with what you believe. So, and I don't know the companies that you represent. I don't know if the products are any good. The real issue is whenever I speak publicly, it's usually at a conference center or at a hotel where people have to drive. So I'll ask people who drove to get here. Of course, the crowd raises their hand. And then I said, how many people turned their blinker on and changed lanes? Pick a lane and own it. Be known in your congregation about specializing in something. And if it's along the lines of what you said, you want to show people that taxes are on sale today, and maybe we should pay the tax burden today in the lowest income tax bracket of forever, and put the money into an account that doesn't have an income tax obligation to it. Maybe that makes sense. That would be my first recommendation, would be simply to find a core belief, a value proposition of why would someone want to do business with you.
Okay.
And if you could build language around these 5 statements and you can fill in the blanks, then you're well on your way. This is what I believe. This is why I believe what I believe. This is to whom I wish to share. This is the benefit they get from doing business with me. Do you believe as I do? Now, again, you got to go back and figure out what you firmly believe in, what the value proposition is for you doing business with anyone. And then send your message to everyone who will slow down long enough to listen. Some will, some won't, so what?
That's a great framework to start from, for sure.
Well, when I'm asked if I were to do it all over again, what would you do? I would find something I'm passionate about. I don't write DI. I used to be the long-term care coordinator for one of the largest insurance companies in the country. I sold a lot of mutual funds because I was always chasing rates of return. So I've done a lot of stuff that really didn't help me identify what my core belief was. And I'm telling you, that's a journey. It's sort of like going to therapy. It's by the time you figure out what your core belief is, you'll go nuts. You literally should go nuts with enthusiasm, passion, drive, all the things that can't be taught. But you sure as heck can learn them. You can build from them. I run an organization where we're trying to all figure out what the heck we believe in. We've all got wonderful conversations and stories to tell and great coffee talks, becoming a person of interest. We have all that. But when we ask ourselves, what is our core belief? We just stumble. We stumble. And sometimes we just make it so damn difficult because they appear to be a difficult question or questions. The answer is pretty simple. What is your core belief? I believe life insurance is absolutely the most wonderful financial product ever invented by man. I know it to be true, and I can prove it. Now, you want to challenge me? Go right ahead. Go right ahead. You'll lose, but go right ahead.
No, I wouldn't challenge you on that.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying.
yes. I understand.
But you have to have literally that kind of conviction and confidence, because right now you're not confident because you don't have a belief, you don't have a why, you don't have passion because you don't know what you're supposed to be passionate about. Drive is low because, look, there's nothing more frustrating than having all the knowledge in the world about every product ever invented by man and no passion. And it's also just as bad to have all the passion in the world and have no product knowledge, and then you become the loudest idiot in the room.
All right.
You just
Right.
talk and nobody hears you.
I think that's honestly, I think that's the fear. That's the barrier for me is I feel like I have a good amount of knowledge, but I'm still afraid that I'm going to give the wrong advice. I'm going to give the wrong information, and I'm just going to end up looking like the fool.
Or Ned Ryerson.
Right.
I call
Question.
That's that guy syndrome. I don't want to be that guy.
And I got to ask, because Tom put this softball up there for us. And so in defense of life insurance being the best product it is, in many ways, I certainly know that to be true. But say I've got a 30-year-old guy with a young family. He's got a $2 million term policy. I'm sitting at his table and he tells me, well, look, I just read this article about this guy has a Roth and it's worth all this money. I think I'm going to keep my term plan of $2 million and just try and build this Roth up. That's where I'm going to put my extra money. That's a pretty good plan.
It's a wonderful plan. Unfortunately, it won't work. It won't work for a couple reasons. Term insurance is wonderful, and we sell a crap load of it. But term insurance is not a long-term play. Term insurance, right now, a Roth IRA, as of 2022, hopefully it'll get through the rest of this year, has no impact on federal tax, state tax, local tax, tax on Social Security, a Medicare tax impact. You're paid sixth on a regular IRA distribution. Right now, Roth's first. But when Roths came out when I was young, I asked every old guy in the office, why does the IRS demand a tax statement on an account that's never going to be subject to tax? Maybe it will. Right now, Congress is debating whether to make the states allow distributions from a Roth to be taxable. Well, I know 3 states that would jump on that opportunity. Well, they're true to their word. We're not going to make it subject to a federal tax, but what if we make it subject to a Social Security tax, a tax on Social Security, a Medicare premium increase, because you don't need free health care. You have all this money. How do we know this? You have a reporting 1099. We get to see how much cash you're getting. There's nothing more powerful than collateralized money. Don't spend yours, spend someone else's. There's no tax impact. The strategies we employ allow you to retire and not file a tax return, regardless of how much money is being spent, because it's not your money that's taxed. Your money is safe, secure, in a nice place, and I'm spending somebody else's, and I owe nothing. I don't even have to file a tax return. I qualify for food stamps, government cheese, free cell phones, Obamacare, and I don't have to file.
I'm glad I asked that question. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you.
And by the way, Senator Roth copied Section 101A to come up with the rules of the Roth IRA. Left out unlimited contribution, unlimited access, and put restrictions on how much you can put in and restrictions on how much you can take out, and called it a Roth. You want the original Roth, the one that's 109 years old? It's called life insurance.
I wish this was recorded, David. This is a good
Reason
stuff
why it's
right
not.
here.
Well, David might.
It is.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
Coleman Young, sir, what are you, what's on your mind today?
I'm just trying to take in information and learn as much as I can. Sit at the foot of the wise.
Do what?
I'm sitting at the foot of the wise.
I didn't,
Sitting at the foot of the wise.
oh, come on, really? No, no.
I'm full
But
of
thank you.
unnecessary information, Tom. I'll take that compliment.
So I guess, so we're having this conversation and you continue to talk about breakaway league. I guess my question is what help is there to get me from where I am to where I'd like to be? I mean, I honestly, one of the big reasons that I'm focusing in more in my business, trying to build my business, is, like I said, I pastor a small church, and I want to replace my income because we've got a big group of young people. We've got a handful of young families, and we need a youth pastor. And the church isn't big enough to support 2 salaries. So I'd like to be able to bring somebody in, and that's why I'm trying to build my business to have that income. So I guess the question is, how do I get from here to there?
Well, you have 2 members in the Breakaway League that are on this call. You mind if I ask them to answer that question?
That'd be great.
Tom, you just faded out there.
I said, would you 2 like to contribute?
We got Raj on here now too.
Oh, that's right. I see Raj now. Yeah, there's 3 Breakaway League members on this call.
I talk too much as it is. You guys go first.
I was hoping you would go first, Kinder, but I mean, we basically the idea is that, you know, we just go out and we try to teach people how wealth works, and you know, try to start conversations and ask questions, and you know, keep asking what they what kind of lifestyle they want to have in retirement, and teach them how, you know, the distribution side works, whereas everybody teaches them about the accumulation side.
There are several products that will accumulate more money. There is not a product that I have ever been exposed to that I could show you how a negative rate of return for 10 years will spend more, give you more cash flow than earning 10% in your IRA each and every year for the next 10 years. I can lose money in my strategy and still spend more than your strategy when you're earning 10%. And by the way, I don't think the stock market is up 10% so far this year. What is it, David? Down about 20 something?
I don't pay
Yeah.
attention.
S&P's down 17 so far year to date.
Oh, there you go. That's a bonanza year. I feel bad for the people that retired January 1.
Yeah.
Sequence of returns is more powerful than rate of return. And if you're
Very.
not familiar with that strategy, you really should Google it. And I'm sure Kinder has about 19 different articles on that. The day you retire is more impactful than the investments you have in your retirement plan,
Yeah.
which is why I won't sell IUL.
Right.
Sequence of return in the distribution phase, right, Tom?
Sequence of returns, just understanding sequence of returns.
Right.
So it's understanding it on the way up, and we're allowed to tell you average, and we can turn that same average on the distribution side, and you can run out of money.
Yeah.
Even though I've averaged 6%, I can't take out anywhere near 6 because of the volatility of the market. You know, people don't understand why the safe withdrawal rate is so low when the average S&P fund over the last 175,000 years is 8%. Have them run a spreadsheet and show you how the first year you retire, if it's a negative year, you basically have knocked 20% off of your lifetime. 2 years of negative returns when you retire, you've cut almost a third of your retirement cash flow gone. So it's not about rate of return, it's understanding the difference between actual an average. And there are plenty of articles, spreadsheets, books written about how important understanding the month you retire will dictate how successful you are in retirement, not the index you bought. Now, again, these are my opinions and they're worth about 8 cents a piece. I'll sell them for a nickel.
Well, I keep picking them up, Tom. I might be up to a couple dollars by now.
I swore today twice. I had to add $10 to the swear jar.
And for everybody else on the call, that's not swearing in the traditional sense.
We're not allowed to use the name of the company that we
He who must not be
so
named.
admire. Yeah. They pooped the bed.
So as to Coleman was asking, what's the benefits with the Breakaway League, and basically, and this isn't a commercial, but we have testimony meeting here. Basically, out of all the things I've learned over the years, the idea is being able to package it and present it in a concise way, such a way that people can understand it, so that they can believe it and take action, or just remain in ignorance and they don't have to. That's up to them. But to be able to convey the information is so much more important. You can look at my website if you want to, dynamicadvancedwealth.com. I got a ton of blog articles, I got a ton of links and all that stuff. That's just why I've got all that stuff on there. I might as well get credit for knowing it. But to be able to make that into a concise conversations, that's the challenge. I already know the stuff works. I just need to know, how do I convey it better? So. And anyway, that's what the Breakaway League is all about, and help you to refine those conversations and beginning those conversations and making sure that we don't derail the conversation, at least on our end. So,
As Tom says, words matter, and the right words matter more.
And the right words
shared passionately.
Shared passionately.
matter the most. The problem in our industry is very few people actually are passionate about anything except a paycheck, which is sad. And when you get paid, it's a nice day. It's a good day. Yippee yahoo. But why did you get paid? Very few people analyze the whole process. I was in Canada speaking last month, and everybody on the podium was a top of the table producer. And what blew me away was that there was an underlying theme amongst all of the presenters. Truly successful salespeople in the financial services world follow a process. And they don't look at your watch, and they don't gauge the car you drove in with to change the process. The process is the process. This is who I am. This is what I believe. Do you believe as I? And if you don't, that's okay, but I'm not going to waste time anymore proving to anyone. There's 13,000 books at Amazon written about the power of permanent life insurance. Read about 500 of them, and then you do a book report and call me in 6 months. I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to call you back. You have one opportunity to say either I'm worthless or I'm worth something. And I'm hoping it's because I'm worth something and we can have a wonderful relationship for the rest of your life. But until then, my job isn't to chase or convince you. I believe. Do you? This is what I believe. Do you? Okay. As many of you know, you've heard this story a million times. I sat next to a billionaire, and the topic of taxes came up. And she said, "What's wrong with paying them?" I wanted to shoot her. We have nothing in common. She could write a check for every financial product and service I offer. I don't want her as a client. You don't believe what I believe. I believe in paying my fair share, yes, because I'm not going to prison for evading taxes. But my job is to avoid them, not evade from them. Avoid them. Well, how about if you learned a strategy or two on how to avoid them using their rules? And too many people in the financial services world don't even know what the rules of engagement are to teach what the rules are. They're chasing a commission check. That was me for a long time. I get it. This is why only 8% of the people who apply for their life insurance license make it. And I would argue, let's talk about the 8% that make it. 90% of those are somewhat successful. They're not really successful. They sustain their life.
Right.
What does it take to become ultra successful? It takes a complete, full understanding of how you got here, analyzing everything you're doing, fine-tuning language, learning to be unique, having communication skills that are huge, understanding what purpose is and what your belief is. All of that is homework. And by the way, you don't get paid for that. The clock doesn't tick and you send someone a time card and they send you a check. That doesn't work. This is why those who spend time working on themselves will over time do better than those that bitch about others. And our industry is full of people who love to bitch about others.
Brad Bennett just gave a comment, says the Breakaway League was life-changing for me. If you want to take your business to the next 10 levels up, dive in.
Tell Brad thank you. He must be listening on your podcast.
Well, I've got a nice reach. You know, when the technology works, it's nice.
Yeah. How many people do you have listening?
I got 4 other than whoever's on here now. And you never know who's going to chime in later. So
Right. And play it. Right. When I started, I was in awe of the big names, the John Savages and the Ben Feldmans of the world, but I never met them because I was never at a top of the table meeting. And it took me years to qualify for MDRT at the basic level. There was no way to get a hold of them or communicate with them. So this really is my opportunity to give back to the industry and make myself available for those who have a question about the industry. I have been fortunate. I have been by many defined as successful in this business, but I'm going to spend the rest of my life giving back to the industry. So what's over my shoulder here on my right side is what we're coming up with here in February. It's called the Professionals Forum. And we are going to have 8 speakers, me included, but it's Jim Ruda, myself, Tom Hagna, Turner Thompson, Cody Askins, David McKnight, Van Miller, and Mary Jo Ehrman. And we've got 2 or 3 other guest speakers. There will be no selling of DVDs or books on stage. It's all about the art of communication. So Jeremy, when you're thinking about, how can I engage? How do I start conversation? These are some of the best storytellers in the world. And really what their function is going to be is to give snippets of ideas so that you can actually implement them immediately. And I will tell you, when I came back from Canada, there was this light bulb went off for me that most salespeople, me included, are out looking for sales ideas, coffee talks, communication techniques, so we can become a person of interest. And when I got back from that meeting, I sat down with my partner and I said, what was wrong with our industry is that all of the presenters in Canada and anywhere I have ever spoken are nothing more than ornaments on a Christmas tree. It's not the tree. No one is talking about the tree. It's an idea. It's a sales snippet. It's a wonderful. This is my prized possession. It's an hourglass, and the hourglass to me is so critical to understand why we do this, because everything you hear, Jeremy, what you're looking for are grains of sand so that you can go out and talk and get a unique response. But all of those grains of sand must go through the narrow part of the hourglass called a vortice. That's where you bring in your value add, your proposition of why they should even listen to you. And that's based on your core belief. Now, it's only taken me 50 years to find this out. 50 years. But I can go back now and I can identify why people in the Breakaway League succeeded quickly and why some members stumbled, were frustrated, and quit. I can now, and rather than, and then I was at fault, throw another ornament at you, another sales idea, another power phrase, a bomb. Let's go back to the core belief. Let's go back to what you firmly believe, why you believe it, and the passion that can result from that. And if I can teach that, then you don't need passion and you don't need drive. You're going to have it. So every bit of research I've done over the last couple of months says there's two things that we cannot teach people: individual drive and passion. I would agree, that's true. However, I can work with you and find out what you are passionately believing, a true belief statement, and we can build your passion from that. Because right now you're confused because you don't know, and as a result, you're not confident. You want confidence? Then you master the art of purpose, you master the art of drive, and you know everything about the product. You master those three, and then you're going to become successful, because confidence comes as a result of that. And everything else after that is, how successful do you want to be? Zale, good afternoon.
Hello, Tom. Good to hear from you.
How's northern Nashville? Southern Nashville is it's raining like heck. It's not.
Yes. Yes, it has been a very wet day, but other than that, it's been a good day.
It's almost 70 outside. It's almost tank top weather. Yuck. Yuck. What other questions? Hey, by the way, we've got tickets on sale right now for the Professionals Forum. We got discounts on hotels that are absolutely phenomenal. If you come to Nashville right now and try to book a room, we're talking north of 500 to 900 a night. And not only can you hear these wonderful speakers, but we've got hotel rooms in the couple hundreds. So anybody on this call interested in attending the Professionals Forum? Okay. All right. We'd love to have you. And there's a discount through the end of December. Prices are going up on 12/31, just to let you know. David, if you want to put in the chat window the link to register, just in case.
Oh, I'm so advanced here. I got a ticker thing that I could just click and it just shows up on a banner.
You're a stud. Deep down inside, you are a stud. Now, don't tell anybody, because that'll ruin your whole image. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Usually, I'm always asked, why does IUL, to me, suck? I'm glad we haven't. Maybe it's because I've said that enough. I don't have to say it anymore.
Well, I was going to ask that question, but I took my other question, which,
Mike, you're only allowed one a year.
yeah,
so
okay, yeah.
You're done.
until I join, right? I get it.
Let me give you David has me on recording, drawing my test question back in college, back when they invented water, followed by the invention of sand. But IUL was coming out when I was getting my degree in insurance, and we had to draw how it worked as an exam. One of the test questions was draw how IUL works. And there's plenty of I saw, David, I think you saw it too. You commented, there was a guy doing a 1-minute lesson on IUL. And he said the cash value has a guaranteed rate of return to it. And I just cringed. I felt like saying, oh my God, is your E&O current?
Well, IUL does have a fixed account bucket allocation that you can choose, and that would have a guaranteed return, but it wouldn't be because of the index. That would be because it's, the safe.
Then why buy
safe
index universal life? Why don't you buy fixed universal life? So he's talking about stock market stuff. So he's talking about the index. And then he says there's a guaranteed return and you can't lose money. And I felt like saying the police are after you. But anyway, so Mike, here's here's the reason why I won't do it. There are 200 trading days in a year. So if I use mark-to-market analysis of an IUL, I have 200 50-year-olds in preferred health. And each day, another preferred health buys a $1 million IUL, all invested in the ABC index. And then the next day, the next guy that does it. And then at the end of the year, all 200 have bought that index with the rate of return of this. And then we look at the end of the year. So we're now looking at 2 years from the very first guy. But if he keeps his annual statement and compares it to the guy who bought on December 28th, that annual statement dated 1 year later, no one is going to have the same amount of money.
Right.
They're all different. Why? Because the index was different. Not the index. The value of the index on the day that I bought it was different. Yet we're allowed to show you a 39-page illustration of the same interest rate assumption for every 50-year-old that wants to buy $1 million policy preferred. There are so many pages in that illustration that are written on behalf of the insurance company to protect them. None of them are added to the illustration to protect you. None of them. You're already fighting a battle you're not going to win if you go to court. So it's a beautiful product. If I was to buy estate planning stuff where I need the death benefit, and I don't want to put a lot of cash into it, I want to maximize the death benefit, I'd buy IUL in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Better than fixed UL, especially in this environment. Do I want to take money out of it? I can't. If you truly understood wealth and long term, you can't. And I wouldn't. And if I have a client who says, I'm buying IUL, I love your strategy, but I'm going to buy IUL. You're not going to buy it for me. Go ahead, buy IUL, but you're not going to buy it from me.
So there, you can't, because you'll lose death benefit.
Now I lose death benefit on whole life too. Again, I have 3 years of negative returns on my indexed universal life. All right, so understanding when you withdraw on a zero return, what happens to your cash value? Is it stay the same?
No.
No. It drops by the amount I pulled out, meaning I have less now in the index. Right?
Right.
And then it happens 2 years in a row. What happens?
It goes down further.
Yeah. Now, the guy who bought it at the end of the second year, same health, same age, he bought it. He's going to kill it. He's going to kill it. Same policy, same 38-page illustration, same company, same index, same, completely different result. Every whole life policy that's bought at the same age, for the same face amount, the same health class, at the end of the year has pretty much the same amount of money. It's predictable. Look, I'm getting old. The last thing I want is a surprise on the day that I retire. And the last thing I want to be told is you must retire on a good day. Because I don't know what the definition of a good day is anymore. When you think about it, IUL, a good day to buy is the day the market is tanking. Who buys on the day the market tanks? Here, let me help you with that answer. No one. No one. But that's how you have to do it. You have to buy when the market is depressed. It's going to go lower. I'm not going to buy. But wait till it goes up 90%, then buy. There you go. You really should see Nick Murray's. Have you ever seen that, David?
I've read all of Nick Murray's stuff.
Well, when he speaks in public, he just does this. And he says, okay, let's talk about the market. You bought here because everybody was just saying this market's good, so you bought here, tank, you got out. And everybody else, the market went up, then you buy here and so let's connect your dots. Down. Look, emotion and it's usually sold under positive emotion. Market's going to go nuts. It ain't. and it won't, every 7 to 10 years to be in the market, you must lose 30 to 60% of your net worth every 7 to 10 years to get the average market index. Can't get out of it. If you do, you screw up the rates, the rate of return. The reason why you can pull out more money in whole life is because I'm not pulling out anything from whole life.
Right.
My policy is guaranteed to be worth more every year. And the beauty of collateral, understanding collateral and spending someone else's money while mine is protected, is the most overlooked beauty of wealth I've ever witnessed. And what blows me away is people in real estate understand that. They get it. So they think. And they look at life insurance as a crappy investment. I would rather have $1 million in cash value, which I do, than having $1 million of equity in my home, which I do. Hello, insurance company, send me the million. Thank you. You know what it takes to get $1 million on a mortgage? 45 days, inspection report, credit report, bank statements, proof of checks for the last 60 days, going out, coming in, balances, and then wait. Hello, insurance company? I know there's a crap load in there. Look, I need 150. By the way, I can tell you what I'm using it for, but screw you. Send it to me. Okay. It's not waiting 6 months, 9 months.
Like
That
some
goes
companies
back.
make you do now.
What's that, Jeremy?
Like some companies make you do now.
Like some that we won't mention.
Right.
When you listen to all of the stuff that you hear me espouse from all of the different recordings that you have, you could go back to the fundamental simple belief of everything that I base my stories on. This is incredible stuff. It works, and I can prove it. Everything else is just an embellishment of what I believe. And the stories that result of the firm belief I have challenge me. I love a challenge. I love a challenge. I could show you literally, and I'll give you the calculator. How if you earn 10% every year for 10 years in your IRA, you know, the stuff that Ramsey loves to have you invest in. I don't even break even in my life insurance, and I can spend more in retirement than you will. Because life insurance sucks. God, it sucks wonderful. It is the most wonderful product ever. And we look at it wrong. We sell it wrong. Insurance companies don't agree with us at the Breakaway League. There's big name insurance companies that don't like sending living benefits to people. No, we want to keep as much of your money as long as we can and write you one check on the day your heart stops. That's it. End of story. The rest is ours. Well, there's a reason it's life insurance and not death insurance. There's more to do with it while you're alive.
Tom, is there a significant difference between borrowing rates or methods of borrowing between whole life and IUL?
Universal life, if you, it depends on what, if you choose option A or B. Universal life separates the assets that you have borrowed. It's still inside the contract. They don't give you your money. So IUL doesn't give you a loan on your money. Whole life doesn't lend you your money. They collateralize it differently though. So UL and variable life, et cetera, will take what you have, the equivalent of what you have, they have advanced you.
Right.
And put it in an account earning nothing.
Okay.
Now, if it's going to get the death benefit and you buy option B so that I can take out all the cash value and still have the death benefit the same, that's okay. But that gets expensive because you don't have any cash in there producing any returns, no indexes, no fixed, nothing. And you've got still a mortality charge, an administrative expense, and a fee.
Okay, my concern is just not being a whole life pro. I'm going to get smashed by the New York Life guys that know more about it and how to present it, here in Omaha, Nebraska. So that's why I need to be in the breakaway league. One good reason.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom,
Yes.
can I jump on a couple of things?
Oh, please.
So if any of you struggle to understand what Tom is talking about as far as building assets and being able to borrow from them and all that, I put Matt's book in the chat. So I'm going to put a little plug in for Matt. If you have not read Matt's book, it's called a book. It's actually like 50 pages, but he does a great job of discussing, the way money works. You'll hear Tom talk about all the time, understanding the way money works. Matt does a great job of really kind of boiling a lot of those thoughts down. So I would look at that. And then also, my first venture in life insurance was with New York Life. They pay those guys so little. Don't worry about the New York Life guys. I mean, they're going to be gone tomorrow anyway, which is what I had to do because they weren't paying me anything. But if they're not, there's so many people out there who need to understand what these products are. Go find the next one. If it's a matter of, okay, they like New York Life because they want to pay a lot and not get much in it, that's fine. Swipe left, go to the next one. So those are my thoughts.
Thanks, Dan. So,
I happen to believe that whoever brings to light the problems first, then the product and the company can be brought in afterwards. But whoever brings up the problems first is the person who has the better chance of winning the business. So you don't have competition. You are your own competition. Believe me, I am the perfect example of being my own worst enemy. But if I can bring up the problem and I can engage based on the problem, the company and the product won't matter until they understand the problem.
yeah, that's my sky is falling voice. I think going to that fear-based deal, all based on lack of confidence, like Tom was saying to begin with.
Now this sales curve, as we call it, I happen to work with a pretty intelligent guy here in the office who's an attorney who asks a lot of questions. And by him asking me questions, we both are walking proof that 2 and 2 is 15. So this idea of what we're doing, what we're talking about today, is really only 60 days old. It was October 7th that we started this journey of understanding those traits of truly ultra successful people. And it's the first time in my 50 years of doing this that I could look at areas that you are deficient in. And if it's drive and purpose, which is most of us, I can't get you out of bed, but I sure as heck can work together. If you still have no drive and you can't find a belief, I recommend you hang up your license and go open a Taco Bell. Because this isn't for everyone. This business is tough. There's a lot of rejection. It took me several years to get out of taking it personally. Now I look forward to the no's more so than the yeses, because out of 350 million people, I think there's 100 that would want to do what I'm doing. And if I could sell 100 in a year, I'd probably make 15 million. Because of the way that we sell. And and when you talk about confidence and conviction, all of that is based on having a strong personal belief in something. And people who get in the business want to get in the business because every life insurance person that's been in the business for 40 years is driving a nice car. So therefore, through inference, you think, if I can last long enough, I'm going to be successful too. And you probably will, but it's not going to be because of you. It's going to be in spite of you. So if you really want to take control of what you're doing and dictate the outcome, more predictable than flying by the seat of your pants, This is the first time in 50 years that I've actually got this curve, which is this thing, that lower portion of the logo, that is the logo for the sales curve. And the reason why the foundation is what the foundation is, I call it the struggling. This is where most of us have conflict, where we're chasing sales. We need desperation. We need to have commission. I get all that. But then there's a tipping point where once you master purpose, drive, and product knowledge, then you start being accountable. You start wanting to keep track and keep your business as a business. You start learning the art of communication, the words, the power bombs, the snippets, all those things that are attractive to you that you think I could just copy what Tom said. No, you can't. No, you can't. And then there's the last before you get to the ultra successful, and that's being unique. Think about it for just a minute. Everything we show a client has gone through the following. There's a marketing department from your company, puts together glossies, pictures, objects, making sure that the colors match, feng shui.
Oh, God.
And then it goes to the legal department. And the legal department says, you can't say this, you got to say this and never say that, right? And then they say, okay, go out and be unique. Everybody has the same stupid piece of literature, go out and be unique. Well, those are the odds against us. So what I try to do is I try to teach uniqueness in you, uniqueness in the strategy, learning the art of opening conversations, having purpose and drive that's self-driven, not me asking you to do anything. And then I'm just rails in a bowling alley making sure you don't make a financial error. But I ain't going to pick up the damn ball at 16 pounds. And I'm not going to throw it anywhere. But I will make sure if you're going to start playing the game, I'm not going to let you fail. And that's the difference. That's the Breakaway League promise.
So are you really looking, I mean, your market is a higher end market. That's what you're looking at. You're not.
No, I want someone who is serious about money.
Okay.
And I don't care if they make $10,000 a year or $10,000 a week.
Because again, the people that I want to talk to, the people that I feel like I connect with and can communicate with, is a middle market. Married and that are married, that, you know, attend church, you know, that have a purpose and that want to protect their family and want to take care of their future.
So Jeremy, if you talk to middle America, lunch bucket, rental car, they don't have a lot of money. I don't care. But don't they know someone who maybe does?
Right.
So it's not your market. Your market is, how do I get started? As my old general agent used to tell me, if you prospect at the circus, you're going to end up with clowns as clients.
Right.
So you can prospect here, but then learn the art of turning a client into an advocate. That's my book too, available on Amazon. Oh God, that was so self-centered. That was horrible. I'm like,
Good job,
But if
Tom.
you-
I've been trying to get you to do more self-promotion here. Okay.
you could turn the clientele that you have into understanding your purpose as well. They'll refer you outside of your clientele. So Jeremy, it's not just talking to the congregation. The congregation has friends. There's something called a Christmas card list. It's the Hanukkah tree. It's all, look, whatever it takes. When someone is matched to your purpose and your drive, they'll prospect for you. But look at the way we've been trained to ask for a referral. Listen, I thank you very much. You just spent a fortune on something you didn't need, didn't want, or couldn't afford, but I talked you into it anyway. So listen, could you do me a favor? Go get your phone book. Give me the name of 7 people you hate. And I'd like to call them all and see if I can piss them off. Isn't that what we do? Think about it. If I was talking to you about how you could build wealth that would never be subject to a 1040 income tax return, And I solved a problem for you you didn't know you had. How easily do you think I would be referred? Call Tom. He's a great insurance salesman. He'll sell you some insurance. I don't want to be known as an insurance salesman. My God, I'm proud of it. Insurance is a solution to problems people don't know they have. But there's 4 other ways that you could retire and not file a tax return. Life insurance is a wonderful form of collateral. That's all. And wealthy people have understood collateral for decades. Took me a long time to understand how collateral worked. Because we all know what a HELOC is. We all know what a primary mortgage is. Yet none of us know the power of that transaction and what that could do to you for the rest of your life. We just look at it as a transaction when I pay my house off, because both Ramsey and Orman say you need to have no debt. Yeah, oh, by the way, put money in the account. You're not even calculating your debt. There you go. That's the solution. When people look, I firmly believe the average American today is starving for the right information on how to make the right choice. According to the newsletter that just went out this week.
Barry calling from the Power Zero. How are you?
What was that?
You just got interrupted by Dave McKnight.
Oh. I forgot what I was saying now.
Oh, damn, that was good too.
Oh.
The American taxpayer is starving to know who to trust, to get information, to make good decisions.
That's right.
Okay.
The newsletter that's going out today talks about 70% of Americans recognize they are underinsured or have none. 70%. And with COVID on everybody's mind and hundreds of thousands of people dying that weren't planning on dying. Of course, nobody does, but they're right now ripe for a conversation about if I can make this whole convoluted, what do you call, confusing conversation, if I can make it real simple, would you give me 30 minutes? If I could break down, here was an interesting statistic. The average American thinks term insurance is 4 times its actual cost. That blew me away, Zale. Think about it. You're talking to somebody, Jeremy, you're talking to somebody, they're thinking if I'm going to buy $100,000 policy, that they put in their head the premium they think it's going to be is 4 times what it actually is. You could go in and say, look, I could like to show you how you could get life insurance at a 75% discount. How? By simply telling you what it is. Here's a quote. Oh my God, I didn't know it was that inexpensive. And by the way, don't ever use the word cheap. Cheap reflects quality. Less expensive reflects price. Don't use the word cheap. That right there is worth $500. Send your checks payable to the Tom Love Savings Foundation. Totally tax deductible. You'll never get it back. Promise you, I will spend it with a smile on my face.
I'll send everybody my address to send it to so I can get my cut. Okay.
All right, we're 1 minute over. How about, anybody got a last question?
So if we want to get involved with what you have going on, where do we go from here?
I think David put it in the chat window.
No, I didn't put that one. I put the newsletter link.
But thank you. The newsletter is $13 a month. And what we do is we take 3 to 5 current events. We tell you what you should know about them. We tell you what your clients should know about them. I go into a rant about the good, the bad, the ugly of the current event. And then I give you 3 to 5 conversation starters, Jeremy, on how to engage in conversation that puts you in being a person of interest about that current event. Is it $12.95? Price is going up to $1,295 a month as of January 1st. Lock it in today, get a discount for life. I'm going to be like T-Mobile's price. Buy now and it's guaranteed to never, ever go up. Wonder how long that's going to last.
It lasts as long until they change their mind. So I put
So
the
the
learn
Breakaway
more
League-
link.
Yeah, thank you. Breakaway League. And it's info at the Breakaway League. If you want to ask me to give you a call back, we can do that.
There's a scheduling form on that link there too, unless you took it down.
I have never seen it, so
Oh.
you're asking the wrong person.
Okay.
The staff somewhere back here does all that stuff. I have a ring in my nose. I don't think you can see it, and I just get tugged, put in front of a computer, and then told to, okay, I've got a wrist right up my back, and I'm just. All right, everybody, be good. Next month, if you want to come back, tell a friend. Go on our Facebook page, our TikTok, or whatever the heck it's called, and reach out. And thank you guys. Appreciate your support. It's always good to get good questions.
Thanks, Tom.
Tom.
Bye.